Have you ever woken up feeling different? Like something deep inside your body just isn't right, but you can't quite explain it? Many seniors ignore those strange morning feelings, brushing them off as just aging or just a bad night's sleep. But what if those small signs are actually your body's way of crying out for help? Every year, thousands of older adults go to bed feeling fine and wake up into the first day of a major medical emergency. The truth is, our bodies don't break down suddenly. They warn us first, quietly, repeatedly. And the earlier you catch those warnings, the better chance you have to stay strong, independent, and safe. Today, we're going to talk about 3 powerful warning signs that should never be ignored. If you experience any of these, especially more than once, you should call your doctor right away. Don't wait for things to get worse. Don't wait for someone else to notice. This is your body, and it's trying to tell you something important. So take a deep breath and let's begin. Growing older doesn't mean giving up control of your health. In fact, the more we understand how our bodies speak to us, the more power we have to protect our future. That's why today's video is so important. We're going to walk through 3 specific signs you may notice right when you wake up. These aren't just random aches and pains. These are potential red flags that could signal something much more serious underneath. Maybe you felt confused one morning. Maybe your chest felt tight. Or maybe your feet were suddenly as swollen after a good night's sleep. Most people ignore these little things, but for those of us over 65, they could be early warnings of stroke, heart problems, or organ failure. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look out for, and more importantly, what to do next. Because early action saves lives and might just save yours or someone you love. If you care about staying informed and living stronger every year, make sure to follow our channel and tap the notification bell. 1. Sudden confusion or trouble speaking. You wake up one morning and something just feels off. The sun is shining through your window, your favorite mug is waiting in the kitchen, but your thoughts feel like they're stuck behind a foggy window. You reach for the right words, but they don't come. You try to ask your spouse what day it is, but you stumble. Wait, what was I saying again? It's not just forgetfulness. It's not just a senior moment. It's something different, more disconnected, more unsettling. And if it happens suddenly, especially right after waking up, it may be far more serious than it appears. That's exactly what happened to Harold Patterson, a 76-year-old retired mailman from Ohio. For decades, Harold had been the dependable type, the kind of man who never missed a day of work, never forgot an anniversary, never lost his train of thought in a sentence. But one morning things changed. Harold woke up and felt unusually groggy, like he hadn't slept at all. He reached for his glasses and noticed his hand felt heavy. When his wife Janet asked if he wanted oatmeal or toast, Harold tried to respond, but what came out was garbled, almost like he was chewing his words. Janet thought he was joking, but Harold looked confused, his eyes blinking rapidly, as if trying to catch up with what his mouth was doing. They both laughed it off at first, chalking it up to sleepiness or maybe low blood sugar. But 3 days later, Harold collapsed in their living room and was rushed to the hospital. The doctors diagnosed him with a full ischemic stroke, caused by a blood clot that blocked blood flow to part of his brain. When they reviewed his scans and timeline, they discovered something chilling. Harold had experienced a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, 3 days before the stroke. That foggy morning, the confusion, the trouble speaking, wasn't just sleepiness. It was a mini stroke, and they missed the window to treat it early. So what exactly is a TIA, and why should we take it so seriously? A TIA, often called a mini stroke, is a temporary blockage of blood flow to the brain. Unlike a full-blown stroke, a TIA doesn't cause permanent damage. Symptoms usually go away within a few minutes to a few hours. But, and this is the critical part, A TIA is often the first warning that a major stroke is coming. According to the American Stroke Association, nearly 1/3 of people who experience a TIA will go on to have a full stroke within a year, many within just a few days. The signs may appear subtle: sudden confusion, trouble forming sentences, slurred speech, difficulty recalling words, or feeling like your mind is in a fog right after waking up. These symptoms are often misinterpreted as sleepiness, fatigue, or even dehydration. But for people over 65, these little things could be your brain signaling that something is wrong with blood flow, and that time is running out. Our brains need a constant, uninterrupted supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered through the bloodstream. At night, especially if you suffer from conditions like high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, or clogged arteries, blood flow can be restricted. That's why early morning hours are peak time for strokes, when your blood pressure naturally rises after waking and your body switches from a resting state to active. For seniors who may already have compromised circulation, this transition can trigger brief neurological events. The result? You wake up and your speech is jumbled. You feel mentally slow. Your memory falters. These symptoms may disappear within an hour, but that doesn't mean it's safe. It means you were lucky this time. So what should you do if this ever happens to you? First and foremost, do not ignore it. If you ever wake up feeling confused, struggling to speak clearly, or sensing something's just not right mentally, call your doctor immediately or go to the emergency room. Even if the symptoms fade, your medical team can run imaging tests like MRIs or CT scans to check for signs of TIA or reduced brain activity. Early detection gives you the chance to take preventive steps, like starting blood thinners, adjusting blood pressure medications, or correcting underlying conditions before a full stroke strikes. But beyond calling your doctor, there are small habits you can begin right now to reduce your risk. First, make sure you're staying hydrated throughout the day, especially before bed. Dehydration thickens the blood and increases stroke risk overnight. Second, keep a regular sleep schedule. Waking and sleeping at the same times each day helps regulate blood pressure and brain function. Third, get your blood pressure checked regularly. If you don't have a home monitor yet, consider getting one. Many pharmacies offer free blood pressure checks as well. And finally, don't ignore your instincts. You've lived a lifetime learning how your body feels. If something feels off, even if you can't explain it, you deserve to have it checked out. Harold and Janet now live with a new awareness. Harold recovered, though not fully. His speech returned, but slower. His confidence, once rock solid, now trembles slightly when he answers the phone or tells a story at church. But they are grateful because they now understand the value of one morning's warning. And they hope others, like you, will hear their story and act sooner than they did. What makes this sign so dangerous is how easily it can be dismissed. A bad night's sleep, a missed medication, even just morning grogginess. These are common. But confusion or trouble speaking that comes on suddenly, especially after rest, should never be ignored. Your brain is trying to talk to you. Don't wait until it's too late to listen. And remember, these signs often come quietly, like a whisper in the early morning hours. But what begins as a whisper can grow into a storm. Which brings us to the next sign, one that often goes unnoticed because it doesn't always feel like pain, yet could be a silent signal that your heart is in danger. Shall we take a closer look at that next? 2. Chest tightness or pressure. Imagine waking up before sunrise. The house is quiet, the birds aren't singing yet, and the morning light hasn't spilled through the curtains. You sit up, stretch slowly, and suddenly you feel it. Not a sharp pain, not something dramatic, just pressure, a strange tightness in your chest, like someone is gently but firmly sitting on you. You breathe in, hoping it will go away. Maybe it's heartburn, maybe it's anxiety, or maybe, just maybe, it's something far more dangerous. That's what happened to Gloria Thompson, age 81, from Charleston, South Carolina. Gloria had always been a picture of strength. She was a retired piano teacher, independent, sharp-minded, and took care of her rose garden every morning. But one day last spring, she woke up at 5:30 a.m. with an odd heaviness in her chest. It wasn't sharp, it wasn't crushing, just tight. She sat on the edge of her bed and waited. 10 minutes passed. It didn't hurt, but it didn't feel right either. Still, she didn't want to cause a fuss. She got dressed, made coffee, and figured it would pass. 3 hours later, her daughter stopped by and immediately noticed something was wrong. Gloria's skin looked pale. She was sweating. When they got to the hospital, doctors told her she'd had a silent heart attack, likely beginning hours earlier, possibly even during the night. Gloria had been walking around for hours with her heart crying out for help. So what is a silent heart attack? And why is it so common and so dangerous for seniors? A silent heart attack, also known as a silent myocardial infarction, happens when blood flow to part of the heart is blocked, just like in a typical heart attack. But unlike the dramatic chest-clutching scenes we see on TV, these heart attacks can happen with minimal or no obvious symptoms. The pain might be dull or not felt at all. In many cases, the only signs are vague feelings of pressure, shortness of breath, nausea, fatigue, or a cold sweat. Seniors, especially those over 65, are more likely to experience these silent episodes because of changes in pain perception with age, pre-existing medical conditions, and nerve damage from long-term diabetes or other chronic illnesses. According to the American Heart Association, more than 45% of heart attacks are considered silent, and older adults are the most at risk of missing them entirely. One of the reasons these signs get ignored is because they're so easy to dismiss. Most people don't associate a little chest tightness or morning pressure with something deadly. We think it's acid reflux. Maybe it's from lying down too long. Maybe we slept in a weird position. And because it's not pain, we think it can wait. But the heart doesn't always scream for help. Sometimes it whispers. And when it does, every minute counts. The longer a blockage goes untreated, the more damage occurs to the heart muscle. And once damage is done, it's permanent. So what should you do if you wake up and feel that odd pressure or tightness in your chest, especially if it's new, lingering, or feels wrong? The first step is simple but crucial. Don't brush it off. Sit up, pay attention to your breathing, and take note of any other symptoms. Are you sweating? Feeling dizzy? Does the pressure go away quickly, or does it stay? Even if it's mild, even if you think you are probably fine, you should call your doctor right away or go to the nearest emergency room. If you live alone, call a neighbor or family member to be with you. If the feeling worsens or comes with nausea, jaw or arm discomfort, or difficulty breathing, call 911 immediately. It's always better to be safe and find out it was nothing than to stay silent and risk permanent heart damage, or worse. But what about prevention? How can you reduce your chances of waking up one morning with this silent warning? First, make heart health a daily priority. If you smoke, quit. If you have high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol, manage those conditions diligently with your doctor's help. Stay active with daily walking, stretching, or light gardening. Even 30 minutes of movement a day helps keep blood vessels healthy and improve circulation. Eat a heart-smart diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and healthy fats like olive oil and avocados. Avoid heavy dinners and late-night snacking, as these can worsen reflux and disturb your sleep, which in turn puts strain on your heart overnight. And finally, listen to your body. No one knows your normal better than you do. If something feels off, it probably is. Gloria now carries a tiny reminder with her, a small heart-shaped charm on her keychain, engraved with the words, "Listen early, act fast." It reminds her, and now her daughters too, that health isn't always about loud alarms. Sometimes it's about catching the quiet clues. After her silent heart attack, Gloria changed her lifestyle. She began meditating in the mornings, cut down on salt, and checks in with her cardiologist every 3 months. Most importantly, she talks about what happened. "I thought I was just being tough," she says, "but tough isn't the same as smart." Many seniors were raised to believe in pushing through pain, ignoring discomfort, or not wanting to be a burden. But ignoring a warning sign doesn't make it go away. It gives it time to grow. So if you ever wake up and feel pressure, not pain, but something unusual in your chest, don't assume it's nothing. Take it seriously, trust your instincts, and trust that your life is worth the call. Because while heart attacks can be silent, the damage they cause often speaks volumes. And if that quiet pressure is your heart's way of asking for help, the worst thing you can do is pretend you didn't hear it. Let's move on now to the third sign, a warning that often hides in plain sight and shows up not in your head or chest, but in something as simple as your feet. 3. Swollen feet or ankle overnight. It starts out like any other morning. You swing your legs over the edge of the bed, ready to begin the day, and you glance down, only to pause. Your feet look puffy, the skin around your ankles is stretched tight, and the bones you usually see are now hidden beneath a strange, soft swelling. You blink, rub your eyes, and wonder if it's just your imagination. You didn't twist anything, you didn't bump your leg, you certainly didn't feel anything overnight. So what happened? Why are your feet swollen? That's the exact question Mary Lynn would ask herself one quiet morning in early spring. Mary was 81, a retired librarian from upstate New York. She lived alone in the home her husband had built decades ago, surrounded by azaleas and old books. Mary was sharp, organized, and healthy for her age. She walked every afternoon, kept her salt intake low, and checked her blood pressure faithfully every morning. But 3 days in a row, she woke up to find her feet and ankles swollen. Not sore, not red, just unusually puffy. The first morning, she blamed it on a salty dinner. The second, she figured it was because she sat too long watching television. But by the third morning, her slippers barely fit, and her legs felt heavy, like she was dragging waterlogged towels around. Still, she hesitated to call anyone. She didn't feel pain, didn't have a fever, and didn't want to waste anyone's time. But when she finally mentioned it to her daughter during a video call, her daughter insisted they go to the doctor immediately. Tests revealed that Mary's heart wasn't pumping blood as strongly as it used to. She had early-stage congestive heart failure, and the swelling was her body's first clear sign. So why do feet and ankles swell, especially overnight? And why is this symptom so important for seniors to pay attention to? In medical terms, this swelling is called peripheral edema, a buildup of fluid in the tissues often caused by poor circulation or fluid retention. When you lie down at night, especially for long hours, fluid that's been pooling in your body during the day redistributes. If your heart is weak or your kidneys aren't filtering properly, that fluid has nowhere to go and ends up settling in your lower limbs, your feet and ankles, thanks to gravity. The result? You wake up and your feet are bloated and tight. While some swelling in the feet can be harmless, like after sitting too long or standing on a hot day, sudden or consistent morning swelling can point to deeper issues, most commonly heart failure, kidney disease, or even liver problems. For seniors, these conditions can develop gradually and silently. The heart may not pump blood efficiently, causing it to back up into the veins and leak fluid into surrounding tissue. Kidneys that aren't working well may allow too much sodium and water to stay in the body, leading to fluid overload. Even certain medications, like those for high blood pressure or diabetes, can contribute to swelling as a side effect. The real danger lies in ignoring this sign. Many older adults write it off as just aging or think it's from too much salt the night before. And while diet does play a role, persistent swelling, especially when it's worse in the morning, should never be dismissed. According to the CDC, heart failure affects over 6 million Americans, most of whom are over 60. It doesn't always start with chest pain. Often it begins with the body whispering through signs like swelling, fatigue, or shortness of breath during simple activities. These are early warnings, and they can be managed effectively if caught in time. So what can you do if you notice your feet are swollen when you wake up, especially if it's a new pattern for you? First, take a moment to observe and document. Is the swelling equal in both feet or worse on one side? Does it go away after walking around for a bit, or does it stay all day? Are your socks leaving deep marks on your skin? Have you gained weight suddenly over a few days, which may signal water retention? If the swelling persists for more than a day or two, or if it gets worse over time, it's time to call your doctor. They may order blood tests, urine tests, or an echocardiogram to check your heart function and kidney health. In the meantime, there are simple habits that can help reduce the burden on your body. Try to elevate your legs for 15 to 20 minutes before bed and again in the morning, using a pillow or footrest. Avoid sitting or lying in the same position for too long. Drink enough water, as odd as it sounds. Proper hydration actually helps flush excess sodium from your body. And limit foods that are high in salt, like canned soups, deli meats, and frozen dinners, which can sneak sodium into your system without you realizing it. Regular movement, gentle stretching, walking, or chair exercises also supports better circulation and fluid balance. After her diagnosis, Mary made several changes. She started keeping a small notebook where she recorded her morning weight, swelling level, and how she felt each day. Her doctor adjusted her medications, and she learned to listen to her body more closely. What surprised her most was how subtle the signs had been, how something as simple as puffy feet had almost gone unnoticed. Now she tells her friends at book club, "It wasn't the pain that warned me, it was the puffiness. That was my clue." For seniors, signs like this can feel insignificant, even a little embarrassing to bring up, but they matter. Swelling may seem like a small thing, but it can be your body's first alert that the engine beneath the hood, your heart, your kidneys, is struggling. And when you catch it early, you give your doctor a chance to act before real damage occurs. We've talked about confusion and slurred speech. We've talked about chest pressure that feels like it's nothing. And now we've looked at swollen feet that could be signaling a deeper issue. Each of these signs may appear mild, even harmless, but they're not. They're warning messages from your body asking you to pay attention. But what if you've already experienced one of these? What if you brushed it off or didn't know what it meant until now? Don't worry, the most important thing is what you choose to do starting today. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment for a quick check-in, and then I'll leave you with something powerful to remember. If you're still watching with us, that means you truly care about your health, and that's a beautiful thing. Go ahead and comment the number 6 below so we know you're part of this journey, and don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss another helpful video. Let's take a moment to breathe and reflect. We've just explored 3 powerful signs your body may be using to speak to you: confusion or slurred speech in the morning, strange chest tightness without pain, and sudden swelling in your feet or ankles after sleep. None of these seem dramatic, none of them scream emergency, and yet they could be early signs of serious conditions like stroke, silent heart attacks, or heart failure. The truth is, your body is wiser than you think. It doesn't wait until you're lying in a hospital bed to raise the alarm. It starts with quiet whispers, morning messages that something needs attention. But here's the good news. All of these can be addressed starting today. You don't have to be afraid of what you feel. You just have to be willing to listen, to act early, and to speak up when something feels off. Caring for your health isn't about fear. It's about respecting the life you've built, the people who love you, and the many years you still have ahead. And sometimes the smallest choice, making that call, getting that checkup, sharing your symptoms, can change everything. So please remember, you are not helpless. You are not too late. You are not alone. Let today be the day you choose awareness over worry, courage over silence, and action over regret. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Your health matters, your life matters, and the fact that you're here, learning and listening, shows strength, not weakness. If even one thing in this video spoke to you or reminded you of something you felt, please share it in the comments below. We read every message, and your words may inspire someone else to take action too. This channel exists because we believe our seniors deserve clarity, care, and community. So if you found value here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this with someone you love. It might just help save a life. We'll be back soon with more wisdom, more truth, and more ways to live strong, long, and well. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and stay kind to yourself. See you in the next video.